So discriminants. Discriminants basically a thing that's used a lot in quadratics and mathematics. Let me show you exactly what one is. So if you have a graph, ignore it. Really, it's really bad. So the discriminant is basically where the root of the graph interacts with the x-axis. So there are a couple types of scenarios that will happen, whatever your discriminant number is. So if your discriminant number is more than 0, it's going to be a rational number with two unequal roots, like so. So you might be thinking, these guys, they look equal, right? No, they aren't, because got the x and the y, see? So if it is equal to 0, then it is still rational, but it is one equal root. So it's going to be like that, because it's equal. So technically it's two equal roots, because both of them are in the same spot. So it looks like one, but it's technically two. Bear with me. If it is less than 0, then it's going to kind of look like this. It's not going to interact with the x-axis in any form, which makes it imaginary. So that is what it looks like there. So now you might be wondering, how the fuck do I find the discriminant from an equation? Well, let's get that started right now. Right, so we're going to start off with a basic equation for, starting off with our rationals. So it's going to be -7 squared minus 8x plus 6 equals 0. So this one's pretty basic because it equals 0. So we don't have to, move things over. So basically, what we're going to do now is to find the discriminant, we have a very basic formula, which is b squared minus 4ac. So I don't think you need me to explain this one. Pretty straightforward. But we're going to label our things A, B, and C. So now let's plug in our values. So it's going to be -8 squared minus 4 times -7 times 6. Alright. So when you have a negative and you square it, like in the Pascal's triangle video, if you watched that one, it's basically a negative times a negative, and that always equals a positive. So if it's times square, if it's squared by 2, then it's gonna be 8 times 8. But if it's squared by 3, it's gonna be -8 times -8 times -8. I think you know where I'm going with this. So when it's like this, it's gonna be positive. So it's gonna be 64. But if you're not sure about this, try to use your calculator on the various values. Do -8 to the power of 3. Then you'll see, it changes based on the number of 8s that you're multiplying each other with. I hope I'm making sense. But anyways, 4 times 6 is 24. Let's just do that there. And that times 7 is, I think, 168. And that's also a negative. So now if we do, if it's a positive number minus a negative number, it's just basically adding those numbers together. It's like the number line. I think you already know this. So then it would be 232 is our final answer kind of thingy. So this, based on what we did earlier, this would be a rational number. So because the discriminant is more than 0, it would have two unequal roots, and it would be a rational number. So that is how we find a little thingy there, using the simple method. So now let's find it using something more complex. Another thing that's pretty, good to know about discriminants is if we use a quadratic formula, which is x equals negative b plus minus the square root of b squared for ac all the way over to a, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. But, whatever, quadratic formula, the only part that's important is that, all the discriminant is basically the thing that's inside, the square root. So that is the discriminant. It's going to be the discriminant. So anyways, let's focus on a harder problem now. Alright, so now we have something a lot more complicated, basically. Not a lot, just requires more work. Anyway, so it's negative 5x squared plus 6x minus 11 equals negative 8. So you might be thinking, oh no, what do I do with this? It's pretty easy. What you're going to do is you're going to move your 8 over to the other side to make it equal 0 again. As it should. That's the true way. So anyways, with your negative 8, you're going to do plus 8, but you're going to have to also do that to the other side. You're going to do plus 8 to negative 11 for negative 11. So anyways, we can plug that into the calculator and let's see what it says. Hold on. Yep, I was right. So, now it's going to be negative 5x squared plus 6x minus 3. So now, and also equals 0. This looks familiar. Let's get started. So, take your formula again. And then you're going to want to label, so for the sake of time, A, B, C. Going to be 6 squared minus 4, 5, negative 3. So this one right here is going to be 36 minus, and then because there's two negatives here, it's always going to end up being a positive, no matter what. If there's two negatives that end up having to multiply each other, then it's going to be a positive. So 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. So if we times that by negative 3, it'll be 60. So 36 minus 60 is, geez, I'm forgetting my, okay, yeah, that's negative 24, friends. So there we are. And because it is a negative number, it isn't, it's imaginary. Because the roots, they do not touch the x-axis. They're always never going to touch the x-axis if it's negative. So there you are, friends. That is our lesson on discriminants.